Okay, we're going to read chapter 4 of The Patchwork Bride by Sandra this morning. Pretty early at my place, 5:44. Chapter 4. Nell had gone to the chicken yard with a hatchet to catch the old rooster. They would have chicken and dumplings for dinner, but as if the rooster knew what Nell had in mind, he took off, skittering across the yard toward the bunkhouse. The bunkhouse was all male territory, but she had to catch that bird. The rooster scooted through the door ahead of Nell, and she stopped when she reached the doorway, not sure she should enter the cowboy's domain. She hadn't been inside the bunkhouse before, and as she let her eyes adjust to the dim interior, she took in the row of bunk beds. Some were made up. The shugans, as the cowboys call their quilts, were smooth. Others were rumpled. She glanced around at prints of Indian fights and dogs playing poker and the magazine pictures of all but naked women pinned to the walls. Scattered amongst them were the carte de visite of mothers and sweethearts and provocative shots of scantily clad hookers. The prostitutes in Las Vegas sold such pictures to their clients. Tobacco sacks and decks of cards and dime novels were thrown about, along with one or two Bibles and what the cowboys themselves called Bibles, packages of cigarette papers. Small trunks were shoved under the beds or placed against the ends of the bunks. As she took a step into the bunkhouse, Nell spotted Buddy in the middle of the room, and she almost backed out. Would he think she'd seen him go into the bunkhouse and followed him? Her face burned at the idea, although Buddy hadn't seen her because he was deep in conversation with another rockin' A-hand, Charlie Potter. She could slip back outside and the men would never know she'd been there, but she had to get that rooster. Besides, she'd caught a few words between the two and was curious. Nell knew Charlie, of course, but not well. He generally gulped his food and left as soon as he was finished eating, barely exchanging a word with her or the other boys. He was surly and didn't seem to have friends among the cowboys. Now he was squatting beside an open locker, looking up at Buddy, red-eyed, angry. Neither man saw her. "I asked what you're doing in here," Buddy said. "You were supposed to be with Gus, rounding up those cows over toward the mountains." "I'm laid up. Must be something I ate." "I ate the same thing you did, and I'm fine. You been on a spree, looks like to me." "I reckon I was. Must have got a hold of a bad batch of busthead." "And you're still drinking it?" Buddy pointed to a half-empty pint bottle laying on a nearby bunk. "Mr. Archer won't like it, you having liquor in here. Best you get rid of that before he finds out." "Yeah, and who are you to tell me what to do? You think you're the whole herd. I expect you're going to tell him just 'cause you're sweet on that chippy." Nell raised her chin a bit. What did she care that Buddy had a girl somewhere? "You watch what you say about Miss Nell," Buddy raised a fist. Nell's mouth dropped open. Were they talking about her? Was Buddy really sweet on her? Had Lucy been right when she said Buddy had played tricks on her just to get her attention? "I seen you watching her, trying to get her to look kindly on you. She ain't much of nothing." "You shut your mouth, cowboy. I'm not fooling around with Miss Nell. She's a lady. You take it." Buddy stopped because he glanced at the floor. He looked up at Charlie. "I don't believe that's your trunk you're going through." "No? Well, ain't that a dinger? It appears it's Raphael's trunk, and you got his do-funny in your hand. That isn't yours either." The two men stared at a tiny silver statue of a saint that Charlie was holding. "Raphael sure would be sorry to lose that." "Mind your business," Charlie spat a mouthful of tobacco juice on the floor, splattering it on Buddy's boot. "Maybe somebody's going through the wrong locker is my business. I had a silver pocket watch that disappeared. I never did understand it. Now that I think on it, there's other things that got lost too. I heard the boys complain about it. I wonder if maybe they'll turn up in your trunk." "You accusing me of something? Maybe saying I'm a thief?" Tell me something I don't know." Charlie glared at Buddy. "I could kill you for that." Nell wondered if she should sneak away. This was between the two men, and neither one would be pleased that she was eavesdropping. She should tell Lucy what was going on. It would be up to Lucy whether to tell Mr. Archer. Still, she stayed where she was. She didn't want to leave Buddy to face Charlie by himself. "I'm just asking for a look," Buddy said. "Be easy enough to settle if I just have a look in your trunk." "Well, you can go to hell. I'll tell Mr. Archer myself. Tell him you was going through my locker. Who's to say you aren't the thief?" "I believe he trusts me." "Oh, so you think you're something. I can talk a pretty good piece myself. There's nobody to speak up for you." "I will," Nell blurted out, then put her hand over her mouth. She should have kept still. Now the two men knew she was there, and Buddy would think she'd been snooping. Nobody liked to snoop. Charlie whirled around. "This is men's territory. Ladies ain't supposed to be in the bunkhouse. Mr. Archer won't like it. You get now." "Roosters aren't supposed to be in here either. I just came to fetch that old bird. I'll leave in a minute, but I'm kind of curious myself about what's in your trunk," Nell said, feeling brave as long as Buddy was there. Since the men knew she'd been listening, she might as well find out if Charlie was a thief. "Let's have a look then," Buddy said. "I ain't got the key." "Then I'll shoot off the lock." While Charlie was talking to Nell, Buddy had removed his gun from his holster, and now he moved a little so that Charlie could see it. Charlie shrugged. "You going to put me out of business, are you?" "I intend to shoot that lock if you don't open it." Charlie took a few steps toward Nell, Buddy behind him, and stopped at the unmade bed where the bottle of whiskey lay. The rooster had made itself at home next to it. Shoving the bird onto the floor, Charlie took a key out of his pocket and unlocked the trunk. He started to open it, but Buddy told him to step back. Miss Nell would look inside. "I kind of have a feeling there might be a gun in there somewheres." Buddy was right. A loaded gun lay on top of a pile of dirty clothing. Nell took it out and set it on a bunk behind her, out of Charlie's reach. Then she removed the clothes. 2 dog-eared police gazettes and a bunch of what Buddy had called do-funnies, trinkets. The trunk was empty, and she frowned. Something didn't seem right. She knelt down and peered into the locker, then felt the inside. "I think there's a false bottom," she said. She pried up the piece of cardboard that had been cut to fit inside the trunk. Beneath it lay a jackknife, a silver pocket watch, a lady's ring, a gold watch fob shaped like a bull, a collection of odds and ends, and a pair of women's bloomers. Nell blushed when she saw the undergarment, glad it wasn't hers. She pushed it aside and discovered a wallet. "This is Willie's. I saw it at the mercantile when he bought his girl's ring," she said. She looked inside. "It's empty. Willie had almost $100 in it when he was at the store." "I found it," Charlie said. "Sure you did," Buddy glared at the cowboy. "And I just bet you'll say it was empty then, won't you? When were you going to give it back to Willie?" "I forgot about it. You know I ain't much for remembering. You recollect that time." Buddy gestured at the items in the trunk with his gun. "You forget to tell me you found my watch too? And I believe you must have forgot to tell Wendell about his knife. You sure are something at dismembering." "You know me." "Yeah, I know you. You're a thief, and a pretty low one to steal from your own pards." That remark riled Charlie, who took a step forward, stopping only when Buddy aimed the gun at him. "You call me that? I've killed men for less." "I bet you have. Shot them in the back, most likely." "Where's Willie's money?" Nell spoke up. "Yeah, I'd like to know that too. Best turn out your pockets, Charlie." Charlie did as he was told, but his pockets held only a few coins. There isn't any money in his trunk, Nell said. "Do you think he hid it?" "Most likely he gambled it away in some Las Vegas bucket of blood," Buddy told her. He's got the reputation of a rotten gambler. You got a leaky mouth, Charlie said, and you got a lying one. Where'd you lose it? I didn't have no chance. It was a fixed game. They was cheaters, all of them. They didn't leave me with even a cartwheel. Charlie suddenly brightened. I didn't steal nothing. I was planning on doubling Willie's money for him. Now, wouldn't that be a nice little surprise? You damn fool. You think I believe that? Buddy said. Did you plan on doubling my watch, too, and Wendell's pocket knife? I'll make it up to Willie. I'll pay him back. And how will you do that, Buddy sneered. Out of my wages, I swear. That'll be fine, Buddy said, and Nell wondered for a moment if he was going to let Charlie off. She'd heard about frontier justice where men, not the law, made decisions about how to punish criminals. Maybe if Charlie paid Willie back, everything would be all right. So we're okay on that? I sure do appreciate it, Charlie said. No, we're not okay, Buddy told him. You can mail Willie's money to him. You get your bedroll now and your horse, and you get out. I want you gone right now. You can't do that. I don't work for you. You want me to go get Mr. Archer, Nell asked. That's up to you, Charlie, Buddy said. The cowboy swore until Buddy told him to shut his mouth in front of a lady. Charlie gave Buddy a snarly look and muttered, I'll get even for this. I expect you'll try, but I'm not worried, Buddy replied. Charlie stared until Buddy pointed his gun at the bunk where Nell had dumped the clothes she'd taken from the trunk. With an angry motion, Charlie rolled up the clothing in a blanket. He reached for his gun, but Nell looked at Buddy, who shook his head. I don't cotton to be shot in the back before he lights out, Buddy said, so Nell picked up the gun and held it behind her. Maybe Willie can get $1 or $2 for it, Buddy added. Charlie scowled. He kicked at the rooster, which was now hiding under the bunk, then strode out of the bunkhouse, and in a few minutes Nell and Buddy saw him lair up his horse and ride off. Now what? Nell asked. Now we catch that rooster. That's why you're here, isn't it? I mean about Willie's wallet. Are you going to give it to him? I am. He'll be pretty broken up that it's empty. Buddy sat down on a bunk near the door. Nell sat across from him. He reached over and took her hand, and she let him hold it. Miss Nell, here's the thing of it. That wallet isn't going to be empty. It'll have almost $100 in it. Nell was confused, but I thought Charlie gambled away the money. He did. Then how? She stopped. You mean you're going to put your own money into it? You're giving Willie $100? You know of anything better I can do with my money? Willie's a real nice kid, and I don't believe his life ought to be ruined because a no good like Charlie stole his money. That girl isn't going to wait forever. Why, that's the nicest thing I ever heard of. Willie will be indebted to you. It doesn't need mentioning. Buddy leaned forward until his face was close to Nell's. Miss Nell, he's not to know it. He wouldn't take the money if he knew it came from me. I'll tell him I found the wallet. You tell him any different, and there's no end of jokes I'll play on you. I don't allow nobody to cross me. Nell was taken aback by the threat and took her hand out of Buddy's. She knew he meant what he said. Is that why you let Charlie go, so you could give Willie a full wallet? Buddy nodded. I could have told Mr. Archer, and maybe he'd have sent for the sheriff. Everybody would have known Charlie was a thief, but that wouldn't help Willie any. So you won't tell Mr. Archer? Might be I'll have to. Him wondering why Charlie lit out all of a sudden without asking for his wages. But Mr. Archer will keep it a secret. And Miss Nell, as I said, I expect you to do the same. I don't want you speaking to Mr. Archer and to Miss Lucy about it either. Nell understood and nodded. Won't the other cowboys wonder why Charlie left? Maybe, but he's not the likeliest cowpuncher at the Rockin' A. Maybe they'll think he's gone to Texas. Texas? Nell asked. Oh, that's what we say when a man lights out and heads ahead of trouble. Nell thought a moment, then she straightened up and looked Buddy in the eye. I won't tell, but in exchange you've got to promise me one thing. Buddy frowned, and Nell realized he was stiff-necked. What's that? You got to let me pay half of that $100. Buddy scoffed. Where'd you get that kind of money? Biscuit shooters don't make much. Where did you? I know what ranch hands are paid. For a moment, Buddy didn't answer. Truth is, I came out west with a little cash, fixing to buy a spread, but I had to learn the land out here first. You're not to tell that around either. And I got my teaching salary from last year all saved up. I don't intend to spend it on, what do you call them, do-funnies. Nell didn't see any need to tell him she had inherited a little money from an aunt. I expect I'll have more than you, so I don't intend to let you pay. Then I'll have to tell Willie how his wallet came to be full of money. You wouldn't. Nell put her hands on her hips. She could be as stubborn as Buddy when she thought she was right. Lord, and why wouldn't I? Buddy glared at her, and she knew he was not a man to cross, but neither was someone who gave in. Finally he said, no wonder that rooster came in here. He knew once you had him by the neck you'd never let go. Nell didn't reply. All right, I guess you won, but you don't think you can best me again. She held out her hand, and they shook on it. Then Buddy grabbed the rooster and held it under his arm. You going to give quarter to this old bird? Not on your life. As they reached the bunkhouse door, Buddy said, you know what, Miss Nellie Blue Eyes? This here's the best joke I ever done pulled, and nobody even knowed it. We, Nell said, we pulled it. Buddy tipped his hat with his free hand. We sure did, honey, he said. Then he added, I'd have thrown him off the ranch just because he said something disrespectful about you. I wouldn't allow any man to do that. And then before Nell could react, he leaned over and kissed her. Nell not only let him kiss her, she kissed him back. The rooster squawked. That's the end of chapter 4.